How's it, Dwaine? Your success in this tournament so far, is that a reward for doing the hard work and doing the things you always do to prepare for matches, or are you doing something differently in this tournament?
Not really. I've been preparing the same way. Maybe it's just gone my way a bit. Our bowling lineup is bowling so well. Any of those other four guys could be picking up wickets. So I think as a unit we're bowling well, and at the moment the ball's just falling my way. I'm sure one of these days it's going to stop falling my way and maybe go to one of the other guys. And as long as I can support them and we can win games for the country, that's at the end of the day all that matters.
Ken up next, and please indicate on the chat panel if you'd like to ask a question.
Except, hi Dwaine, yes, very well done. It seems also though that you're bowling to a very particular plan at the death there, very full and wide outside off stump. Can you just talk to us about the development of that plan and the thinking behind it, and maybe what the challenges are in executing that plan?
Yeah, look, obviously I think the dangers at the death are being predictable. So I'm trying to vary my pace and my length quite a bit, even though my line is the same. Keeping the guys guessing, and then like I think I had another interview where I said trying to make sure that I'm bowling to the batters' plan C's and D's instead of their plan A. It's not an ego battle out there. It's trying to be effective as most as possible. If I can do a job for the team again and put us in a better situation, I'm willing to do that ugly job, if you want to call it that. Something that doesn't necessarily always look the prettiest, but when it's very effective. And I've built my whole career on that. So trying to do the best job that I can do for the team.
Dennis, followed by Spoo.
How's it, Dwaine? Just sort of a follow up on that. Did you develop sort of a few new slower balls, or is it the same type of slower balls that you've always bowled in your career?
I've worked a lot on different variations of slow balls, so it's definitely something that I really have focused on. Obviously, in a T20 World Cup, I think if you've only got one option, you might be in trouble. So, really trying to mix it up and make sure that even though at the moment guys might be thinking that I'm just going to go wide every time when they face me, even though the line might be predictable, you're still not sure which ball is going to come out. So, having 5 options in terms of what I'm looking to do there is something that I've really worked hard on. At the moment it's going well. We'll see.
Spoo?
Hi, thanks, Fogazi. How's it, Dwaine? My question is just regarding the injuries that you had leading up to the World Cup. How fearful were you that you would not get a spot in this team, especially considering how many other guys were knocking on the all-rounder doors? Vivian Mulder, George Linda, who came into the team and did well. Andile Bushukwayo has been in and around the team for a while. And has that sort of pushed you as well in terms of keeping your performances up and so you can keep a place in this team?
Yeah, look, you mentioned a few great players there. Anyone can fill the spot of the all-rounder. They're really good players. From my side, it was a very frustrating time in my career. First a rib fracture, taking a catch, then missing out in terms of COVID. So it was a bit of a challenge. Day one after getting COVID, I was stressed. I'm quite a religious guy, after day one, sent up a prayer, and then I just trusted that at the end of the day God's will be done, and that put me in this position here. So I've always trusted Him, and that was my method of dealing with it mentally. Obviously coming back into the fold before Sri Lanka, making sure that I can take as much lessons from the team that they took from the West Indies tour, and made sure that I can contribute in a way. I'm very blessed that I'm here, and as long as I can keep contributing to the team, hopefully I'll be here for a while.
Aditya?
How's it doing? My question is that after the last game, how confident is the batting unit, given that even David Miller has struck form?
No, it's awesome. I think Shamo likes touching on it, and I want to touch on it again. I mean, our whole team, batting, bowling, whatever, and we're not relying on one or two superstars to get us over the line. Our whole team is contributing every time, and we could see it again in the last match. David came to the floor. Even Temba taking us deep on difficult conditions. And if you go through even the warm-up matches, there's a lot of guys that have gone in, scored runs. So I think overall our team is in a very good space at the moment, but we're not taking any matches or any results for granted. We know that we need to keep preparing well, and then obviously bring all the intensity and passion when we get onto the field for the next game. Bangladesh is a good side, strong side, and very dangerous in these conditions, and we can't take them lightly.
Fidos, Percy, I see that you've got your hand up for a question. If it's in Afrikaans, we'll take a question at the end, and then Zahir. So we'll go Fidos and then Zahir, and then Percy, you'll take your Afrikaans questions after.
Dwaine, you mentioned having COVID. I'm just interested to know, what is the recovery process like for an elite athlete? I mean, when Heinrich Clausen spoke about it, it sounded like it was quite bad. How do you get back into it?
Well, I was very fortunate when I had it. If I didn't test, I probably would have thought I've just got a little bit of a stuffy nose. So obviously Cricket South Africa has got their protocols in place, and I followed that. It's like a 10-day process for you to get back to just normal running, making sure that you can cope with the stresses. And I got through it quite easily. I know there is some other players that might have struggled in the past. But yeah, again, I was quite fortunate, so I could get back onto the park and start training quite early. But yeah, again, very fortunate in that regard, and I know there's some players that have it a bit more tough than I had.
Zahir, Ken, and then we'll finish with Percy.
Hi, Dwaine. Obviously, you guys have played some two high-intensity games, the West Indies one, and then obviously on Saturday again against Sri Lanka. How do you maintain that intensity, that level that you guys are at to bring that amount of energy that we saw in the field? How do you bring that again in a game against a team that can't qualify actually anymore?
Well, I think to be honest with you, we've been really good in terms of our recovery protocols. Also, the amount of energy we expend during training sessions. The medical staff and the coaching staff has been really hard on us by not doing anything that is unnecessary. So I think we're managing our energy levels really well. And then obviously the basic one, I mean, with this Protea on your, where is it there? With this Protea on your chest, I mean, you need to bring the passion, you need to bring the energy. It doesn't really matter how tired you are. We know back home there's a lot of people rooting for us, and we really appreciate them. And the worst thing we want to do is let them down. So every day when you go over that line, we make sure that we leave everything on the field. And another nice thing with this game is we've got, I think, 3 days before we play England. So leave everything on the field, and we've got a few days to recover. And I'm sure everyone will bring their highest intensity possible.
Okay, we'll take Ken, and then we'll do Smooth, the last English question, and then we'll move to Percival in Afrikaans. Guys, sorry, we have to finish after that. No more questions.
Dwaine, Sri Lanka, now Bangladesh, both qualifiers, both subcontinental teams, both with South African coaches. Do you feel Bangladesh are going to bring a similar sort of game plan to Sri Lanka, or are they a very different proposition?
Well, I'm not really sure what the game plan would be, but if you look at the whole structure of the World Cup at the moment, it looks like teams are taking care of the power play. They're realizing that if you lose a few quick wickets there, you're going to be in danger there. So I think they might take it as deep as Sri Lanka tried to do, and then see where they can end off in the death. So I think overall the structure will be very much the same. So it's obviously up to us to upset that and make sure that they can't play the game that they would like to play. So however we're going to go about it, that's obviously our plan to make sure that we upset their way of thinking.
Smooth?
Hi again, Dwaine. Just about the team's doggedness and fighting spirit. What are the conversations like in the dressing room with regards to the totals you've defended and chased? You know, you pushed Australia very, very close, even though many would have thought you're dead and buried with that total. Just talk to us about the fighting spirit and that never say die attitude that we've seen in these last 3 matches, especially with what's happened off the field.
Yeah, look, I think what astonishes me is how this team is stuck together. It doesn't really matter what controversy has come out or what controversy is at board level or CSA level. This team, we've been together for quite a while now. I mean, if you think of when this group of, let's say, 20 players got together, it's been a few months now. So the guys are really, I mean, it's a cliche, but we really are forming a family. And that's probably one of the biggest advantages we have when it comes to COVID and bubble life. You're really forced to spend a lot of time together, and you start realizing how much it actually means to each other to be playing for your country. So it's a special moment for all of us, and that's why it doesn't really matter if it's a single, if it's a noble or a wide. Whenever we might give that away, know that we're going to fight to get that back, and we're not going to stop fighting until that last ball is bowled. And you could see that again in our game against Sri Lanka, Australia, even against the West Indies. We're not going to leave anything to chance, and we're going to give it our all every match. And that I can promise you, that's our promise to each other in the team every day.
Thank you, Dwaine. And we'll move on to Percy. 2 questions in Afrikaans.
Sibukazi, thank you so much. Goeiemiddag, Dwaine. Dwaine, kortliks, ek geredelik my vraag beantwoord. Nou in Engels, so ek gaan die eerste vraag net vra, hoe is die gees in die kamp op die oomblik, veral na die eerste wedstryd, na die tweede wedstryd, en soos my kollega gevra, natuurlik veral met die drama wat van die veld af was.
Ja, kyk, die gees in die span is awesome. Op die huidige stadium, om maar wen deur te trek, soos ons nou die aand het, is awesome, en is even nog cooler vir jou spangees. So dit is awesome. Ek meen om 'n wen te kry teen Wes-Indië na wat gebeur het die oggend voor die game, weer eens ook baie goed. Maar daar is ook wat doen mense dit? Ons verstaan dat dit nog nie verby is nie. Ons verstaan dat daar nog 2 baie belangrike games voor ons is. So ons koppe is nie in die lug nie, ons vat dit dag vir dag. Bangladesh, môre, baie vital game. Hulle is 'n goeie span. Ons kan hulle nie te ligtelik opneem nie. So van ons kant af, ons is heeltemal ingezoon vir môre, gefokus, en ons gaan ons beste gee môre op daai veld.
En dan net 'n opvolgvraag dan, jy het weer eens gedeeltelik my vraag beantwoord dan. Gewoonlik gebruik sportmense in geheel, nie net julle as cricketmense, maar geheel, julle gebruik gewoonlik die klise, ek sê dit baie versigtig, julle fokus net op een wedstryd op 'n verslag. Maar kan julle nou, waar julle tans in die kompetisie is, kan julle net fokus op Bangladesh, of hou julle gedeeltelik julle oog ook op wat Engeland vir julle voorberei, of wat ek nog voor hulle teen Engeland?
Wel in my opinie, ek weet, dis nou vir my, en ek kry die gevoel van die ander spelers, maar van my kant af, as ons nie môre wen nie, maak Engeland nie regtig saakie. So, ons moet môre wen. Môre is 'n wen game, dis knockouts vir ons van hier af, en dis hoe ons dit sien. So, ek seker die span sien dit ook so, in ons team meetings, ons team chats, ons preparation nou, die intensiteit is daar gewees, dieselfde beplanning, dieselfde tyd vir ons altyd insit vir elke game was daar gewees. So ja, nee, ons vat hierdie regtig nie ligtelik op nie, en ons is gefokus op hierdie een game, en hierna kan ons worry oor Engeland. Soos ek gesê het, ons het 3 dae na hierdie game om te worry oor Engeland, en dan sal ons oor hulle dink. Nou eers Bangladesh.